Today on Adversity to Strength, I'm joined by Amanda Gordon. Amanda's story begins with survival. As a baby, she suffered severe burns in a scalding accident, an experience that left lasting physical scars and shaped much of her journey growing up. Raised in a strict religious environment, Amanda also speaks about finding the courage to break away and build a life on her own terms. In this conversation, we explore resilience, identity, self acceptance, and the lasting emotional impact of growing up feeling different. Amanda reflects on the challenges she faced, the confidence she had to build within herself, and how those experiences shaped the person she became. Alongside a successful career in human resources, Amanda also pursued her passion for music, performing across the United States and appearing on national television alongside legendary artists, including Patti LaBelle. Today, Amanda also gives back through her work supporting fellow burn survivors, helping others navigate trauma, healing, and recovery. This is a powerful conversation about survival, resilience, and learning to embrace yourself fully despite the challenges life places in front of you. Amanda, it's great to have you on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to speak more with you.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. Take us back to the beginning. Where did your journey start? It sounds like it was almost at the beginning for you.
Yeah, so I was born in the Philadelphia area, suburbs of Philadelphia. Grew up there. So I am first generation American. My parents are from the Caribbean, Barbados and Jamaica. So I grew up I was actually to start at the beginning. I was 10 months old when I was in an accident in the kitchen. So I was about, like I said, 10 months old, crawling into the kitchen and, boiling water kettle
Yeah.
kettle of boiling water that falls on me. So being that young, of course, I have no memory of the incident.
Yeah.
Actually, to be honest, I have a really I think I have a faint memory of being in the hospital, but it's, I blink and it's gone. But, I don't have any memory of the incident. But I do remember the first memory I do have of that was maybe as a toddler. So I had to wear compression garments for several years after to kind of
Oh,
help
right.
the scarring.
Yeah.
So that's what I do remember, that, the itchiness and the just very uncomfortable wearing it under my clothes. It was kind of so my scars are on my back. I have my back is scarred.
Yeah.
This right arm, my neck, this shoulder, clavicle area. And so, the compression garment was like pretty much the top half of my body. So I actually, being that I didn't remember anything and I kind of just went on as I grew up, going to school, thinking that was it, you're home from the
Yeah.
hospital, you're healed. There's no psychologically and emotionally, I never thought of, any kind of that healing part of it. And I know, kids can be cruel in school. But
Of
luckily I
course,
didn't.
that's guaranteed.
Yeah, so for me, I know once I put my clothes on, you can't really tell that I have the scars unless
Yeah.
it's summertime or I'm at the swimming pool or the beach. So I didn't have that. I never really had people teasing me. And in that, because I had the scars since I was a baby, I don't remember life without the scars.
Yeah.
So it's not like I lived my life and now I have
Yeah.
to.
It's all you
So yeah, so that was kind of that part of the journey. And as far as the burns, I didn't really revisit it until maybe 5 or 6 years ago. During the start of the
yeah.
pandemic, I started to think, as most
Any
people was. I'm sorry.
any reason why at that time? Is because
I think it was just
pandemic,
maybe the
too much
pandemic.
time, too
Yeah, a
much
lot of
free
time
time.
to think. And I was one thing I remember, I was possibly going to have a surgery, and I remember thinking, oh God, like the scars from the surgery, that's gonna be horrible to deal with. How am I gonna, deal with new scars? Started thinking, and I was like, "You know what? Let me look up, like, organizations for burn survivors," because I started
Yeah.
thinking about my scars more, and I found an organization called Phoenix Society, and that's where I kind of, saw that they have peer supporters. So I thought, "Well, okay, well, I can be a peer supporter and kinda give advice to other burn survivors." So I did that, and that was ended up being, like, healing for me. I went into it thinking, I'm gonna give back to others, give them some hope and encouragement, but it ended up being, for me, really just healing and motivating, just speaking to people from all different walks of life. And for me, born as a baby, but I've met people who were, lived their whole life
Oh,
and they're in an accident, and it's, having to deal with that, going back to work, going back to school,
yeah.
the loss of, items in a fire. So that was really eye-opening and healing for me. And that all kind of tied back to that led me to I always did music. So growing up I was always singing, playing violin, piano, but I never really did solo music. I was always singing for other artists or singing in a choir, singing background. And this experience led me to kind of start writing my own music, just the whole thinking over my life
Yeah.
and different various topics. So I am now in the process of song is almost done, kind of releasing my own music, which has been also part of the healing journey and very I just can't even explain what it's been like full circle moment actually.
So with the healing moment, did you even realize that you'd even needed that? Because you've grown up from day one, used to it, you were used to it there as well. Didn't sound like too many people have said anything to you about it, like you could easily get at school. So what was the sort of healing that you felt that you had got from it that you might not have realized you'd even needed or been having to work on at the beginning?
Yeah, so a lot of like self-confidence, self-esteem,
Yeah.
that was a big part of it. And there are times even though when I would like say I go to the beach or just seeing people out and about, I'll see them without or at the gym. I've always noticed people, I'm like, wow, look at their smooth skin. They have no scarring. So that's something I kind of was a big part of it for me as far as healing. Just being more comfortable in my skin.
How did you manage being comfortable in your skin? Because I can imagine for a lot of people that's a hard one to take. The injustices of it, the looking around, feeling like it's just you, and things like that. So how did you get to feeling like comfortable, confident, literally in your own skin?
Yeah, that's something. I mean, I'm still working on it. It's not. I don't think I'll ever be like 100% because there are always new people and new situations.
Yeah,
But for me, just knowing, beauty doesn't come from. And this sounds cliche, but it's not really like the outward
yeah,
appearance. It
literally.
it really is. That's why I also like. It just gave me a better sense of empathy for people, regardless of the situation. Getting to know people for who they are as a person, not so much an outward or what they look like, any kind of so-called imperfections. So that was big for me. Just yeah, like I said, just taking it all in perspective. It's a journey, still a journey.
A journey without a destination, as they say. But
Right.
as long as you're making progress along the way there as well. So you've always been into music, though. You've always loved music.
Yeah, so I grew up I took piano lessons as a kid. In school I played violin in the orchestra. I love listening to music. Sang in church, with choirs and groups and solo. And I kind of knew I was like I knew I was good, but for me it was never because there were so many rules and restrictions growing up in like a this the religion was really controlling, so
Yeah, you said it.
there wasn't that push to do anything outside of certain career paths. But somehow deep down, I found the wherewithal to like just maybe branch out and go on auditions. So I went on my first audition when I was maybe I think I was still in high school, like last year of high school. And that just gave me the confidence to, step out of my comfort zone. Just standing in front of strangers who are going to critique you.
Yeah.
It's nerve-wracking. There's so much I learned from that. Just preparing for the audition, having the confidence to just go for me is an accomplishment. Just being able to stand in front of some of them are singers that I grew up listening to. From
Yeah.
there, yeah, from there I figured out like that this is something that I'm good at and I want to pursue in some way.
How did you get to perform with Patti LaBelle? That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so I was actually listening to the radio and she came on and she was like, "I'm looking for the best singers in Philadelphia for this particular show." And I wrote down the information and looked online and went to the first audition. She wasn't at that first audition, but it was her musical director, like an exec from NBC, the TV station, and I believe her
Yeah.
son. Got through that audition. Second audition was actually where I met her, and I was extremely nervous, of
Yeah.
course, but, more so, like, just wanted to get it over with, I just wanna, see what happens from this. So I go in and I sing my song, and she's like, "I love your voice." Like, I'm like, "Oh my god." That was, like, just a great moment for me just to hear her say, 'cause this is someone, like, I grew up, like,
Yeah, of course.
listening to, hearing on the radio, and I think the first time I actually saw her was on Sesame Street as a kid.
Remember, like, I remember my earliest memories of her when I was a kid was with Michael McDonald on My Own.
Oh,
Dance.
okay, yeah, I love that song.
Yeah, yeah. That's one that's 'cause it's such a good song, such great words there, and it was a massive hit back in the day.
Mhm.
So she's been around forever.
Yeah, I'm a old school. I love, like, 70s, 80s music. I always did growing up. I love the 70s. I love the hairstyles, the clothes, the music, so that was really exciting and, met some wonderful people, great singers, just being around them. And for me, I'm someone like I felt like I'm because of the religious upbringing, I felt like I missed out on a lot of
Yeah.
events and opportunities. But I think for me, like just knowing sometimes you have to step out of your comfort zone. And that
Always.
was big for me. Like I was like, I knew I can't let opportunities continue to pass me by. I'm
No.
gonna go out there regardless of, what I've been
Yeah.
told or, they place a lot of fear in you and control, but I'm like, I'm gonna step out on my own and do something different, regardless of the outcome. Right, exactly.
You describe religion as like a cult. Is that how you found it? Kind of like a almost like a cult.
Yeah, I know the definition of cult. I mean, for me, it was cultish. I mean,
Yeah. Religion's like a big yeah, more people in it than a cult. So it's the
yeah, for
me.
me, like, if it was just going to church and coming home, that would be different. But like, just for example, like we couldn't wear jewelry, we couldn't, there were certain dietary, like pork and shrimp were forbidden. So for me, that's
Yeah.
that's pretty high control at the most.
How did you get out of that then? What did you do to change that then? Because obviously you've been brought into a to into religion and to actually say, well, no, this isn't for me. How did you manage to do that?
Yeah, so that for me was really like listening to my intuition because can remember as young as, elementary school. So my school, public school, there were kids from all backgrounds, Catholic, Jewish, non-religion, Hindu,
Yeah.
you name it. And I remember thinking how do we know what's the right religion? How do
Yeah.
we know which one?
There's
And like
2,000 of them.
yeah, so many, and
My
I'm
one's the
think
right one.
which one I remember I mean, at that young age, I really couldn't grasp that kinda concept, but as I
Yeah.
got older, I remember thinking, maybe there isn't a right one, it's just what you were born into or the geographic location, and what people feel if you feel something is right for you and it adds value to your life, sure,
Go for it.
uh, but I don't think it should be forced on people.
No.
So for me, it was just like that intuition, knowing something wasn't quite right.
Yeah.
And all the rules and restrictions was really, like, holding me back. I mean, I missed out on a lot of things just because we're in church on the weekends and things you couldn't do, and I knew that, I'm like, "This just doesn't" deep down, I'm like, "This doesn't feel right." So that's big for me now, like, following my intuition.
Yeah.
Something doesn't feel right, it's not adding value to my life in any way, I question it, like, I do that with everything. I'm always open to critical thinking and
Always. And
questioning.
asking questions is like the worst thing in the world to religion. Who was it that sort of brought you into that? Was that from your parents? Was it? A
Yeah,
religion.
so I was born in it. It's very big in like the Caribbean, this particular religion. So it's just kind of part of the culture now. But I was born into it.
Yeah. And how did you feel stepping away from it? Did you feel like a relief?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it's a relief, but a mixture of course there's like that fear, that's been instilled in you from such
Mhm.
a young age. There's a comfort and kind of everything's decided, this is the right way. We know everything. And I guess that's comforting for some people.
Yeah.
And I can understand where it's like, you're part of a group, everyone's kind of thinking the same, doing the same, eating the same. But it was freeing. It's
Yeah.
definitely a relief. Much happier now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's little things I just don't take for granted. Just that being able to eat what you want, or I can wake up on the weekend and sleep in, or I can
Yeah.
go to the gym or watch TV. It's not that set schedule. So little things like that. I just that freedom is for me. I don't take that for granted.
No, definitely not. But I think you've done well, and that shows a real strong mentality there. And I would imagine you're somebody with everything you've been through that you've got a strong mentality, a strong willpower to overcome.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And that's one of the things that I didn't realize until years later. But I was like, you know what? I've survived a lot. I've been through starting at a young age as a baby, and I survived that, persevered, um, and that gives me the confidence to kind of know that I can handle
Yeah.
much more that comes my way.
Did you find that you were confident in some areas? It sounds like you're really confident in like the music side of things and you had a lot of belief, but then obviously because of what you went through when you were really small, you're going to struggle in certain areas there. So did you find it was like quite mixed with your confidence?
Yeah, definitely mixed. There was always too, like, kind of wondering what people are going to say or how they're going to react, or if this I remember was this gonna be a hindrance, if they see the scars or, things like that. But yeah, it's something I've worked on. And I kind of goes in different areas. Like the confidence in one area kind of propels
Yeah.
me to kind of work on it in another area.
What's with everything that you've been through, obviously with the scars, what's the biggest thing that you've kind of dealt with there? Would that be acceptance, maybe, or what would you say to overcome what you've been through to build the confidence? What would you say the biggest achievement is in working on yourself?
Yeah, acceptance is one of them. Just, knowing that for me, it's like a lot of times I was thinking about the past or worried about the future, but I can't change anything about, the scars or
Yeah,
what happened. So kind of just being present in the now, knowing that
yeah,
I can't
that's
change what happened in the past, that acceptance.
yeah,
And another thing is because one of the things they do talk about in some of the burn retreats is hidden burns. So for someone like me, scars on my face. So when you first meet me, you might not know, but then like I might have to reveal at some point. So that's kind of gets to like, oh God, how is this person gonna react or how are they gonna, when do I tell them or so that's something I've that's a topic that they talk about and help people kind of navigate having to reveal the situation.
how did you feel suddenly you're like locked down, too much time, you start like thinking about, I'm guessing about something that you probably weren't really thinking about, and suddenly you started thinking about it, and then it's like a rabbit hole, and then before you know it, your people sat around listening to you talking about your experiences. I mean, how did you find that?
Yeah, I don't that's a good question. I never thought
That's
I'd
great.
be yeah. I never thought I would be, giving peer support to other, bird survivors, and I never thought that I'd be in that space, but it feels right. I'm like, I feel like this is the right time. I don't think,
Yeah.
say, maybe years ago I was in the space or I would even thought,
No.
but I think, it was the right time when the opportunity presented itself.
Yeah, and what sort of things have like people that's been listening to you, other burn survivors have said to you, hearing your story? Then I'm guessing they can relate to what's happened to you.
Yeah, I definitely can relate, and I think a lot of times people just wanna see people, going about their life, doing normal things,
Yeah,
knowing that there is hope after, the injury and what happened, and you can move forward. So a lot of it is just kind of like, how do going to work, going to school, day to day.
there's probably people that's not undressed in public in 20 years or whatever there as well. So to hear
Right, right.
somebody that they can relate to, because I would imagine with something like that, like with other traumas and things like that, even though you know it's not the case, people often think it's just me. So when they hear somebody else's, they're like, not in a bad way, but it's not just me. There is somebody out there. I can feel a bit more confident that I'm not on my own with this. Did you find that at all?
But yeah, because I honestly I hadn't met another burn survivor. I mean I don't know. I hadn't
Not knowingly.
unknowingly, I hadn't met, so I just didn't know, like, all this was out there, like, these thousands of people that come to the, World Burn
Yeah.
Congress or the retreats. I've met people that have burned as a baby as well, some younger than me, some at 2 months, and I'm just like, "Wow, I never knew that this." I thought it was just me, honestly. So even that in itself is just really healing for myself and others, just to even just see someone in the flesh that can relate.
Yeah. And you started doing the like talks there as well. How did you feel sort of doing the talks there? Did it make you want to go on and do other things?
It did, yeah. So I definitely made me want to even like write a book or, start my own
Yeah.
podcast story.
So
Right.
to be a
Mm.
voice for a lot of people out there that are probably not hearing other people's stories, because I would imagine there's a lot of people that have had similar experiences that wouldn't know to go there or wouldn't even feel confident to go to a place where you go there where there's other people similar circumstances,
Mhm.
but they might listen to a podcast.
Right. Yeah, that was me. Like I didn't know. I was, just going about my life not knowing that there were other people or people speaking out. And now, I went to the World Burn Congress and I met people that have, written books and they have podcasts. They go on speaking tours. And it's just like, wow, this is why we definitely need to keep telling our stories and speaking out because there are other people out there that also can benefit.
I think so. Whatever the subject is, especially if it's helping somebody if somebody's going to benefit there as well. Nowadays, one of the benefits of the way of the world is the level of technology, podcasts, their interviews, and we can all do it. So we can get the word out there more than ever there as well. What do you think that you're likely to do? Because there's so many things that I could imagine you've thought, well, I could do all of these things, like writing a book, like doing a podcast there, speaking tours there. What other things are coming up for you that you think that, yeah,
Yeah, definitely the music, releasing my
yeah,
first single, that's something, I think that's definitely something I wanna do. That's the main one for now, and eventually in the future, would love to write a book.
yeah, I think it'd be you've got such an interesting story there as well. So there'd be a lot of people that would want to hear your story there as well. And with the music, tell me a little bit more about the music. Then, I mean, what's the sort of the songs going to be about there? Could it be about anything? Is there a particular theme for an album?
Yeah, so I have one song so far that's written. It's kind of about like just going after your dreams. That's kind of the theme, despite whatever challenges you might have faced, or just kind of having the confidence to pursue your goals and your dreams. So I would
Yeah.
say it's like an inspirational, kind of like positive affirmations. That's something do every day, like just kind of write down mantras and affirmations. So to put that in a song, kind of like just to lyrics that people can resonate with confidence and moving forward.
When do you think you'll have the single out? When's that going to come out?
I would say like within the next few weeks. So I have the recording done, just doing some finishing touches this week. So hopefully can get that out on the streaming platforms and I'll have it on my website as well.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. That'd be great. That's an
Yeah,
achievement.
that's exciting for me just doing it and completing it from start to finish, just the process of writing the lyrics and working with producers and the engineers. It's been great. It's just something I love.
That's an accomplishment there, without a doubt, and who knows where that takes you to there as well, but regardless, it's still some accomplishment and achievement that you've done there as well. When you say that you do affirmations, when did you first start with the affirmations? Because obviously when a lot of people, when they've been through some real adversity, a lot of people, the last thing they want to do is have an affirmation, because you need to, if you want it to be successful, you need to be actually believing in it. Otherwise, it's just like, well, who cares? So when did that first start for you with the affirmations?
Yeah, that was a few years back, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. Just writing down like positive thoughts and positive things to start the day. Because sometimes in my mind, like I said, my mind would go back to, especially with like the religion, some of the negative and the fear-based,
Yeah.
controlling aspects. So I kind of wanted to almost like reprogram in my mind, kind of like
Yeah, definitely.
put in positive things and saying, kind of taking the negative and changing it positive. So kind of just would like start with writing things down and also saying it back to myself. So that's been really helpful. So I've been doing that for several years now.
And would you say that with all the work you've put in, you've got, because you sound like somebody that's really positive. You've got this positive mindset, even on the days where it might not be as great as what you hope it to be, it never is, but you still got that positive mindset because you've been consistent with your positivity for so many years now.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. But even, I remember thinking I was at a burn retreat in Lake Tahoe, California, and it was just beautiful, the lake and the mountains. I love being in nature. And, I'd met some great people and I remember thinking like, wow, like such a tragic event has brought me, being able to come
Yeah.
to this event. It's free of charge for burn survivors. I'm just like, wow, I'm grateful to just be here despite what happened in the past. And,
Yeah. And what is a Burns retreat? I'm just assuming, because you hear all different types of retreats. Is it just a retreat where people that's got burns go to, and what do you do?
yeah, so they have different topics. So it's
Yeah.
like a weekend retreat where you can various breakout sessions. They might have like burn care professionals. But they did have like burn hospital professionals, like some of the nurses and the burn surgeons and staff. So some of the topics they talk about just depend. So they have topics for some people have like amputation, so they might talk about that. Someone like me, they talked about like childhood burns, hidden burns, some of the new technology that's out, like late they have like lasers that can reduce the
Yeah.
scarring. So it's just a whole,
Yeah.
you can kind of pick what you want to focus on for the weekend. And then there's also like just the recreation side, having fun, going on a hike or doing yoga, sound bath. So it's just a relaxing weekend to kind of be with other burn survivors and connect.
Yeah, and I would guess that when you've got people that are similar experiences there as well, they're less self-conscious around everyone as well. So they, for once, they might be able to relax. If you found it to be like that with them?
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's a big part of it. You don't have to answer questions and kind of everyone knows and understands. So that's a big part of just being able to come together and with people where you can be yourself. You don't have to worry about people staring or teasing or pointing. So that's a big part, especially for people who are like maybe newly or more recent with the
Right.
injury. For them to come and see people who were years in, decades in, it's big, big, it's big.
I mean, it's awful for anyone to go through anything like that at all. But I would imagine if somebody's just gone through it, they're still trying to comprehend, what they've gone through. So to see somebody that might have been through a similar experience decades earlier and how they're coping and managing with it there might give them quite a lot of confidence that, with the right being a therapist, I'm going to assume therapy as well as all the things that else that come with it, that can help them get through where they are now and feel more acceptance of everything there as well.
Definitely, and there's nothing, of course, the nurses and doctors are great, but there's some things that the actual lived experience, someone who actually has been through it and can talk to, like, the different stages and what you're gonna go
Yeah.
through and the emotions, that I know that's really important for some of the newer people that come.
Yeah, I find it with like my own experiences that I've been through. If I speak to somebody that's been through similar or the same as me, it's just a different conversation. It's just a
Yeah,
totally different conversation.
definitely.
You feel like you almost go like 100 miles an hour because you're in sync with that person. They know what you're going to say. They understand what you're going to say, and vice versa. Whereas if you're having a conversation, for example, I would imagine you speak to somebody about what you've been through that's not been through that. They can guess. They're not going to be accurate. They can listen, but it's not ever going to be anywhere close to somebody that's been through the same circumstances.
Yeah, that's it, definitely.
Do you find that to actually have, not that you want to spend all your time having a conversation about something like that, but do you find that when you do have a conversation with somebody that generally actually understands everything you're saying and thinking and feeling, that it's almost like a relief?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's hard to explain, but
Yeah.
just that confirmation that, you both kinda someone that understands and can relate. There's just nothing like it.
Yeah, yeah, that's
And I think that's why I didn't even when I found out about the peer supporter program, I was like, "Wow, you actually go to the hospitals and the treatment places and speak with actual burn survivors." And I think that's really important because like I said, the doctors can kinda tell you just based on their training, but
yeah.
to actually speak with someone, to ask, questions, so many things like, we talk about the itching and the different lotions that might help and dealing with family and friends. And it's so much that so many questions that people have that really can't, it's hard to gain the perspective unless you've been through it.
Yeah, I totally agree. For whatever somebody's been through, nobody understands the same as somebody that's been through it. Uh,
Right, right.
Especially somebody that's just gone through it, or even if happened to them years ago. I think we said just to have that conversation with somebody that genuinely understands it's just such a relief. You're not alone. That somebody does get what I'm.
Someone, right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And did you find that when you were speaking to people and you could see their reactions there, that gave you confidence? It really gave you a purpose in what you were doing.
Yeah, because I remember thinking like, because I didn't remember my accident.
Yeah.
I don't remember too much of, like, the hospitals, the visits, or anything at all, so I was like, I to be honest, I wasn't sure if I would be I'm like, "Am I the best person for this? Like, will they" is what I have to say, like, valuable? Because I'm not speaking from, like, what I remember, I'm kinda speaking from, my lived experience afterwards, so I wasn't too sure.
I think it's a really valuable one. I mean, I mean, not that you could ever want anyone to go through that, but it's probably a different conversation. The fact that you're going, well, I've got the results of this, yet I can't remember that. It's like I deal with trauma as a therapist there. And like from my own traumatic experiences, there's a lot that I can remember. There's a lot that I can't remember, but yet that it's happened.
Right, yes.
I can imagine that people are hearing your story, the fact that part of it's missing. is really interesting because there's going to be people similar to you as you found there as well. So to be able to relate to and you get that with people that's had trauma, PTSD, they don't know what caused it, but they've got the effects of it as well. So you have to then deal with it as well. I think that's really helpful, your story there. I don't think that's anything you need to doubt about whether it's going to be beneficial. I think that's going to, I think you're fine.
Yeah, that's what I found. I found like I'm like, that's that was just me kind of doubting myself. And I think there was a book, I don't know if it was a book, but it was the concept of like the body keeps a score. And you as a therapist probably
I've
know
got the
like the
book on
whole
my shelf.
yeah, another one I read, I think was called What My Bones Know, but the idea of like you might not remember, but it's kind of stored in your body. You kind of have to process what has
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. The body keeps a score. It's a very good therapist book. A lot of therapists recommend it, and a lot of clients have it as well. I've recommended it constantly as well. It's such a good book there as well, and it's so true. It's definitely a good recommendation. The other book I haven't read, but I have heard a few people mention that book as well.
Yeah, I definitely that was definitely, informative for me, and I was like, I found myself relating to it because, like, yeah, I don't remember, and I kind of, went on with my life, but then I was like, "Wait a minute, there's something that kinda pulled me, like, wait, I have to deal with this and heal and kinda go back to kinda move forward." So that was definitely something that was resonated with me.
And what's your, because you said like you'll always be working on yourself and always be healing there as well, like most people there. What does like your daily routine look like? What's you healing yourself every day? What do you do?
Yeah, so it's multiple things. The gym is a big part of it, exercising, just that
Yeah. Yeah.
fresh air and sunlight. I try to I
Yeah.
do walk every day. So that like exercising has been big for me. Um like I said, writing down like positive affirmation. There's just journaling in general as part of that journey. And I would say just continuing with and if therapy is a big thing as well, connecting with people, so that's kind of like my as far as like healing. I try to for me it's like a lifestyle change. It's so just
Definitely.
those things, try to do those things every day and weekly, monthly, make it a lifestyle.
Yeah, and you've then got your consistency of all the positive things that you do in there as well, and there's your lifestyle change there as well. I think what you've done and are doing is brilliant, and there's so much more to come from you with everything that you're going to do, and then obviously in the future there as well.
Thank you.
I think that you're unbelievably strong in what you do. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on there and hearing your story. And I've got so much respect for you for the strength you've got and everything that you do. And Amanda, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I was gonna say I loved your it says adversity to strength and there's like a logo. I love that.
Yeah. 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 I got a really nice lady from Germany to design it for me. As much as I'd like to take the credit for it, I got somebody else to do it for me. But yeah, I really like it.
Nice.
So,